today is quite a gentle hip opening class. As I said, 2 belts, or a belt and towel, or a belt and a belt from your bathrobe for later. And we're going to start in child's pose. And if you want to start in like a bit of a wide-legged child's pose, so that your knees are about hip width, maybe not, like just a little bit less than mat width apart. You can just lie down, rest your tummy on your thighs, maybe the forehead or the mat, or if it's more comfortable, if you're a bit stiff, you could put a block under your forehead, and you can have your arms out in front of you or alongside of your legs, whatever feels more comfortable. And take a deep breath into the nose and exhale through the nose. I'm going to stick with that breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And just slowing down our breath, arriving here, leaving the week that has been behind, trying not to think of the day to come. Breathing slowly, trying to keep your inhalation and your exhalation even length. Always know you can come back to your breath throughout the class, throughout the challenging poses. Trying to stick with that inhale and exhale through the nose as we move. Feel how on the inhale your abdomen expands, presses against your thighs, and on the exhale your abdomen moves in, and you might sink a little deeper, melt into your bones, into your tissues, into the mat. You inhale, your ribs expand, move to the side, your chest goes broad. You exhale, chest moves together, your chest sinks towards the mat. You inhale, your collarbones lift, your shoulders lift a little. You exhale, you feel your collarbones move towards the ground. Your armpits move towards the ground. Breathing here, feeling all those 3 stages in one breath. So you inhale, your abdomen expands, your ribs expand, your shoulders and collarbones move up. You exhale, collarbones, shoulders move down, armpits to the ground, ribs together, chest to the ground, abdomen in, and abdomen to the thighs. Breathing here, a few more breaths. Next inhale, slowly pull your hands under your shoulders, and exhale, press into those hands and press yourself up into a kneeling position. Bringing your knees together in kneeling, Virasana or hero pose this is called, and we're going to do a tiny moment where we're going to tuck our toes. You could get a block or a book or whatever you have and place that under your knees. I'm going to sit with our toes tucked, trying to bring the balls of your feet together so that if those are your toes, this bit, the balls of your feet is close or almost touching. And we're just going to sit here, trying to bring the weight, trying to bring our Our shoulders, our torso, central over our hips, and stretching those toe joints out, feeling it probably quite intensely in the big toe joint. Maybe you can play around, rocking, like bringing a bit more weight into the outside, into the little toe side of your foot, stretching that little toe out, moving the heels together, bringing more of the weight into your big toes, and just staying here. This is going to be uncomfortable. I find it really unpleasant. I try to do this a couple of times a week in the morning. I will sit like this for like a minute, for 2-3 minutes, just to stretch out my toes in the morning before I do my yoga, or even before I go for a run, to stretch out my feet. And then as you move through your yoga practice, I personally find that plank and down dog, the feet feel more awake, and I can sense how I'm grounded through my feet a bit more. You can sit here for another moment. I'm going to be in here for about 1.5 minutes in total. And I'm going to sit for about 10 more. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 1. We're going to go forward. If you have a block, we're going to put our hands on the ground, we're lifting our knees off the block, removing the block, sitting back, and we're going to sit on with our toes pointing back in this kneeling pose, just for a moment to let it relax. And if you want, you can bring your hands in sort of like the 10 spider finger type hand gesture just behind you, and you can see if you can lift your knees off, just to stretch the backs, the tops of your feet here. And just stay here for another moment, for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and rock back forward, bringing those knees down to the ground if you lifted them up. Really great, guys. This is quite an unusual stretch to do, so well done. Coming into tabletop, so hands on the shoulders, wrists, elbows, shoulders are in line. Hands to shoulder width apart, our fingers are really nice and broad. We're going to press through the whole palm, fingers like a starfish, and you almost want to imagine you have those webs like a frog or something between your fingers, and you want to press down that webbing between your fingers. So really ground between the fingers. Knees shoulder width apart, hip width apart, under our hips. I'm going to actually start with our wrist normalization. So we're just going to rock forward and back, forward and back. You can rock as much or as little as you want. A little rock like this is perfect. We're just waking up our wrists. Or you can go quite far forward, and as you go back, you could almost come into a child's pose. A few more rocks, whatever version you're doing. It's your yoga practice. Do whatever feels good for you today, right now. Coming into center and into stillness. We're going to turn our hands inward now. So we're going to rotate our hands so that our thumbs are facing the outside edge of our mat. We're going to bring our hands quite a bit in. This is an intense stretch. Fingers are pointing to the knees. Palms are on the mat. Fingers again, really nice and broad, pressing down the webbing between our fingers. And we're rocking here very gently. This intense stretch on the inside of our wrists. Maybe as you rock back, the balls of your hands lift up a little bit. That's perfectly fine. Again, rock as big or as little as you want, but be gentle. And coming into stillness after one more. And placing our hands back how they were before. One more stretch. We're going to place one hand at a time. We'll bring the back of our hand to the mat. So our fingers are pointing to our knees again. The palm of the hand is now facing us. So the thumbs are to the inside of the mat. We're doing that one hand at a time. We're rocking here, trying to have the fingers broad, trying to have the thumb in contact with the mat, even if it's just a tiny bit of the fingertip. Just rocking here, stretching the back of the wrists now. And coming into stillness after one more. Going to center. Placing that hand down again. Doing the same thing on the other side. So back of the hand on the mat, fingers pointing to the knees, palm to the face, thumb to the inside of the mat. Stretching the fingers, all fingers in contact with the mat, and rocking here. You might feel a bit of a difference between your hands. It doesn't have to be the same difference every time. I found the right one a bit stiffer today. Maybe that's because I'm right-handed. Just interesting to notice how your body feels and to question why that is the case, but not judge. And coming into stillness, into center, placing that hand down, turning it around, and let's sit on our heels for a moment. Let's sit kneeling and just shake our hands out for a second. Maybe do circles with your hands as well. 3 circles one way, and then 3 circles the other way. Stretching those wrists out. And coming back into our tabletop, setting it up again like we did a moment ago. Fingers really nice and wide, hands on the shoulders, knees on the hips. And we're coming into a nice little shoulder stretch. So for that we're going to raise our right arm, open our chest to the wall or wherever you are. And exhale, we're going to thread that arm through the left arm. Come down, place that right shoulder on the mat, right cheek on the mat, staying here. If you want, you could bring that left hand around and see if you could touch your inner thigh with the right inner thigh with the left hand. You could just bring it on your lower back, the left hand, or leave it where it was, whatever feels good today. Staying here for 2 more breaths. And with the next inhale, we're going to press into that, bring that left hand back in front of our face if we moved it. And with the inhale, we're pressing into that left hand, opening our chest up, and exhale, placing that right hand down again. Same thing on the other side. So inhale, we're raising that left hand up. Exhale, we're threading it through the space between our right arm and right knee. Cheek down to the mat. I'm going to stay here with the right hand in front of our face, or we can bring the right hand on our lower back, or we could try to get hold of that right inner thigh to open that upper chest, that right, the right whole chest and the right shoulder. Stay here for 2 more breaths. If you move that right hand, bring it back in front of our face. With the next inhale, pressing into that right hand, lifting that left hand up, and exhale, left hand down to the ground. So again, coming back into our tabletop, hands spread wide, and we're going to move into our cat-cow now. So on the inhale, we're arching our back, we're maybe bending our elbows a little bit. I like to do that, and imagine bringing your shoulder blades together. And we're looking up into the top corner of the room. Exhale, we're pressing through our hands, through our arms, rounding our back, shoulder blades apart, chin to chest, tucking the pelvis, exhaling here. Inhale, shoulder blades together, arching the back, belly button towards the ground, looking up. Exhale, pushing through the hand, pushing the ground away, shoulder blades apart, hip tucked, really round here. You're making a capital C. Inhale, into our cow, arching the back. Imagine something heavy is on your lower back, like a baby elephant, really arching your back. Exhale, pressing through those hands, chin to chest. Imagine it's an accordion and you're pressing all the air out. 1 more each way. Inhale, in our cow with our arched back. Exhale, into our angry cat. And coming into neutral spine now. 1 breath here. And with the next exhale, we're tucking our toes, we're lifting our knees up, we're pushing into our first down dog for the day. Unless you've done yoga already, then it might be God knows how many down dogs you've done. We're going to walk our heels here, just to wake up our calf muscles if that feels good, otherwise stay central. Just bending one knee, lifting that heel of that foot, pushing that other, the opposite heel to the ground, then changing around, bending that knee, heel of the ground, pressing the other heel down. Doing that as fast or as slow as feels good. Have a few more of these walks, and now coming into stillness. We're setting up a downward dog, first downward dog again, properly so we know what we're doing as we're coming to our next down dogs. Our hands are shoulder width apart, fingers again super wide, pressing that webbing between the fingers down. Shoulders are away from the ears. Our elbows are straight but not locked, and you want the eye of the elbow, the inside of the elbow, to face each other and the fingers facing forward. If your fingers are pointing to the side of your mat, the eye of your elbow will point forward. You want them to face each other, so for that you have to bring your fingers so they point forward and your thumbs to each other. Your back is nice and flat. That means you have to bend your knees a little bit too. No problem at all. Your feet are hip width apart, toes pointing forward, heels in line. You don't want your heels to come together like a ballet dancer or out. You just want to have your feet are in line with the long edges of your mat. You want to imagine that you're bringing your heels to the ground. Getting them to the ground is not important. Just imagining pulling them down. That way you're waking up your calves, you're engaging the calves. Staying here for one more breath, feeling how we set up our down dog, pushing the shoulders away from the ears, shoulder blades apart, back active, so that we know what we're doing next, noticing how this feels. Now we're going to walk our feet towards our hands, one step at a time, baby steps. We're going to stop behind our hands, feet apart, hip width apart, as you can have turn your heel in, so it's like 1 foot width between your feet. And we're just going to hang here. Bend your knees if that feels good, and maybe if you want, you can sway from side to side, waking up your glutes, waking up your hips, waking up your lower back. And we're going to come into stillness and center, bending our knees a lot more, bringing our torso to rest on our thighs, tucking our chin to our chest, and rolling up. Starting from the back and now slowly straightening those legs, leaving the chin on our chest. The last thing that comes up. Coming up, shoulders go down, up, down, back, and now lifting the head up. Lovely. Wonderful. We are all nice and warm, I think. Stayed in that down dog a little bit longer than maybe usual. I definitely felt that. Great. Cool. Right, we're going to come to the front of our mats. We come into Virasana, mountain pose. For that, we're going to bring our feet together. If that feels good, you could have your feet hip width apart if that feels better. But bring our feet together, that's how I like to practice it. We're going to lift all our toes off the mat. Our toes, joints are nice and awake now after that warming up, and I'm going to lower them one at a time, starting with the little toe, fourth toe, middle toe, second toe, and big toe. You want to be able to see a little bit of the mat through your toes. Now maybe lifting up your heels a tiny bit, placing them down. Really solid grounding, standing here. We're engaging our perineum, our pelvic floor, your abdominal muscles a tiny bit, just to be nice and solid here for when we fold. Shoulders up, back and down, palms facing forward. Have one breath here or two, maybe closing your eyes, feeling how we're solid in our mountain pose. Opening your eyes if you close them. I'm going to inhale, raising our arms. Exhale, folding down, engaging those abdominals. Placing the hands either side of the feet, bending the knees if you have to. It's early, your legs, your hamstrings will be tight. Inhale, hands to shins, looking down for a half forward fold. Hands to the mat, stepping back with the right foot, followed by the left foot in our plank. In plank, the arm shape is very similar to our angry cat or our down dog. Shoulder blades apart, shoulders away from the ears, pushing your heels back. Standing for one moment in this, really imagine you're pushing the ground away. One breath, and now we're lowering on the exhale, knees, chest and chin down to the ground into this 8-point pose, bum in the air. Inhale, we're sliding forward into our cobra, untucking your toes, elbows into the body, shoulder blades together, shoulders away from the ears, looking forward. Exhale, tucking those toes, pushing back into a downward dog. If you need, you can step your feet in a little bit if that stand is a bit too long. And remember how you set up your down dog. Hands wide, fingers wide, pushing through the webbing of the fingers, whole hand into the ground. Arms straight but not locked, the elbows, shoulders away from the ears, shoulder blades broad, flat back, knees bend if you want. Imagine pushing those heels to the ground. One more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, we're stepping that right foot between our hands, followed by the left foot. If when you step forward, your foot doesn't come between the hands, you can always help your foot forward. Inhale, coming to half forward fold, hands to shins, looking down. Exhale, bring the hands to the mat again, bending the knees if you need to, forehead to shins. Inhale, coming up, hands overhead, and exhale, hands into heart center. Lovely. Other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding down, engaging the core, keeping the back safe. Full forward fold, knees bent if you need to, foreheads to the mat. Inhale, hands to shins, looking down. Exhale, hands down, stepping back with the left foot, followed by the right foot into our plank, pushing through those shoulder blades. And exhale, knees, chest, chin down. Inhale, sliding forward, cobra. Toes untucked, toes pointing back. The toes are engaged, feet are engaged. Everything is doing yoga. Exhale, tucking the toes, pushing back into our down dog. Staying here, stepping in if you need to. And breathing here. Coming back to our breath. We're staying in down dog for a couple of moments so you can recenter, reconnect. On the next inhale, we're stepping forward with the left foot. If your foot only comes down to here, just grab the calf with your hand, step it forward. Stepping forward with the right foot, meeting in the middle. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, hands down, full forward fold. Imagine you're pushing the mat forward. That'll get you to come a bit deeper. Inhale, engaging the abdomen, coming up with a flat back. Hands onto heart center. Going to add a little bit, waking up our hips in this session. So we're going to inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, folding down, nice forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half forward fold, hands to shins. Exhale, hands down, stepping back with the right foot. We're going to lower our knee down, untuck the toes, and we're going to come up into a low lunge. If you want, for balance, you can place your hands on your thigh, of the left thigh. We could also let go, open the chest here, bring the shoulders back and down. Maybe look to the ceiling and feeling the stretch here in your right hip flexors of the leg that's in the back, but also feeling the bend here in the left hip, feeling how it's working. It's quite a nice stretch for runners, for cyclists, but also for all of us that are sitting at our desks. One more breath here. And exhale, hands either side of that front foot. We're tucking that back foot again, lifting the knee, and we're stepping back into our plank. Holding that plank for a second, and then exhale, knees, chest and chin, and inhale, sliding forward. Coming into Cobra, Virasana. Exhale, tucking the toes, and pushing back into our down dog. I'm going to straight away, stepping our right foot forward in between those hands. I'm going to come up here into a high lunge. So the back heels are staying, and we're staying on the ball of the foot. We want to push that back heel away, pushing that back heel to the back of the room. Trying to have that right knee above the right ankle. If you're coming forward quite a lot, then that's not very safe on your knee. You want your knee to be above the ankle. And you don't want to have that knee falling in. You want to push that knee out a tiny bit so that you can see sort of the inside of your ankle. You can either have your hands here, or place them here, or you could also raise your arms for balance. And maybe coming onto the ball of that front foot, bending a bit deeper into that hip, and then lowering the heel. Really coming deeper, feeling the start of the burning in the front thigh, but also the back thigh. The back knee is really straight. Again, not locked, but straight. Back and front leg are doing yoga. Exhale, hands either side of the front foot. We're stepping that back foot next to the front foot. So left foot next to right foot. Inhale, half forward fold, hands to shins. Exhale, full forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, engaging the abs and coming up. Exhale, hands into heart center. Lovely. One more, other side. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, we're folding down. Hands by the side of the feet. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, hands down. We're stepping back with the left foot, lowering the left knee, untucking the toes. And coming into a low lunge here. What you want to do is you want to have your square your hips and your shoulders, meaning that they're directly on top of each other and both are parallel to the front edge of your mat, really nice and straight. If you look down at your chest, you want your chest to be straight, not one shoulder to be ahead. Again, you can have your hands on your hips, your thigh. Okay, let go, roll your shoulders down and look up. And feel that nice release in the left hand hip stretch, flex up. Here again, also the right knee now over your right ankle. One more breath, inhale, exhale. Inhale and exhale, hands down either side of the front foot. We're tucking the left toes, lifting the left knee and stepping back into our plank. And now knees on the exhale, knees, chest and chin down, 8-point pose, bottom in the air. Inhale, sliding forward, cobra, shoulders away from the ears, shoulder blades together. Exhale, tucking the toes, pushing into our down dog. One breath here, and now stepping forward with the left foot in between the hands. Again, let's help your foot forward. And inhale, we're coming up here. Again, knee over ankle, knee not falling in, but pushing it out. The back heel is active and pushing back, making that back leg, the right leg, really long and straight. And you want your shoulders and hips squared, stacked on top of each other. You can stay here with your hand on your thigh, and your hand on your hips, alongside the body, or raise them if you want. Stay here for one breath. And now if you want, lifting the heel off the mat of that front left foot. Bend, coming a bit deeper into that bend of that front left hip, and then lowering the heel down. Feeling how you're working a bit harder now in this pose. Breathing here, in and out through the nose, connecting with your breath in these hard poses. One more breath, inhale, and exhale, hands either side of the front foot. We're stepping forward with that left foot next to the right. Inhale, hands to shins, looking down for a half forward fold. Exhale, hands down, full forward fold, Uttanasana. And inhale, coming up. Exhale, hands into heart center. Great, guys. I think we're warm. We're going to do a few more standing poses, but this time we're going to not do it through a vinyasa. Not everything has to be through a down dog. Trying to do it a bit differently. So we're going to step back with that left foot into like a nice wide stance. You want to have your heels in line, so that front heel of the right foot sort of more or less meeting the back heel of the left foot or somewhere along the inside of the foot. The left foot is coming in a little bit, it's a little pigeon-toed, so the heel is a bit further to the back of the mat and the front of the foot. Coming up here, raising our arms to shoulder level but not scrunching the shoulders up, and we're bending that front knee into a warrior two. Again, making sure that the front knee, the knee is over the ankle or a bit behind but not in front. Knee, you're not falling in, you want to be able to see maybe the inside of your ankle. Chest is in line with the long edge of your mat. Staying here in a warrior for a couple of breaths. Your drishti, your focus point, your viewpoint is the front middle finger, focusing on that. Again, if you would want, you could lift that front heel, the right heel up, bending a bit deeper into that front hip, and then lowering down, if you want. On the next inhale, we're straightening that front leg, right leg. Bring the arms down, and we're now going to bring the front foot, the right foot, in the same way as the back foot. So they're both a little pigeon-toed for a nice wide-legged forward fold. You want to have both your heels in line, so as if they're on one line. And to bring our hands on our shoulders. If you had a block, you could use a block here. To bring our hands on our hips, not on our shoulders, sorry. And we're going to inhale, we're rolling our shoulders back, opening the chest. Inhale, and exhale, we're folding down. And to bring our hands on our mat, if that's not available for you, you can just bring your hands on a block. Inhale, you're lifting up, you're pressing up a little bit, maybe coming onto the fingertips if your hands are on the ground. Looking up, and exhale, hands to the ground or on the block, wherever you are. Hands, palms to the ground, fingers pointing up. You want to have your hands maybe in the same place as sort of between your feet. And maybe see if you can bring the crown of your head down to the mat, or sort of look towards the mat, towards the ground. Breathing here in this forward fold. On the next inhale, we're going to come up halfway, fingertips to the ground, nice flat back here. Exhale, hands to the hips. You're now floating. And on the inhale, engaging the core, we're going to come up slowly. Great. Now we're going to bring our back toes to face, to point forward. Right foot is staying how it was, a bit pigeon-toed. Going to raise our arms, inhale, and exhale, we're bending that front knee. We're counter warrior two on the other side. Nice, so now the left knee is bent, the right leg is straight. Again, knee of the bent leg, now of the left knee, over the ankle of the left foot, knee not falling in, but pushing it out a little so you see the inside of your ankle. Looking towards that left middle finger, chest nice and straight, nice and flat to that long edge of the mat. Maybe inhale, lifting that left heel off the ground, bending deeper, only a little bit, into that left hip, and then lowering the knee down. Breathing here. Inhale, we're straightening that left leg, lowering the arms, just rolling our shoulders for a moment. Going to lift our arms again, and now as if someone is pulling us by that left hand, going forward until we can't go any further, and then we're folding down. Again, if you have a block, you can bring that to the inside of your left foot, rest your hand on there. If you don't have a block, rest your hand on your left shin, or maybe bring the fingertips to the ground in our Trikonasana. Wherever you are, you want to really stack both shoulders on top of each other and the hips on top of each other. You want to be super flat, as if you're caught between two planes of glass. Breathing here, feeling the stretch in your right obliques, the right side body, your left inner thigh. With the next inhale, we're looking down. I'm going to come up and lowering those arms. Again, we're going to move those toes of the left foot to point forward now. So again, pigeon-toed in this wide stance. I'm going to do another forward fold. For that, we're grabbing our hands behind our back like that. We're interlacing our fingers. Whatever interlace is most comfortable for you. Or if you want to challenge yourself, you could go for the uncomfortable, unusual grip. We're inhaling, we're opening our chest, we're pulling our knuckles down to the ground, looking to the ceiling. And exhale, we're folding down until we can't go any further. And then you're moving your shoulders, trying to leave your hands, the heels of your hands together. Your hands are your palms are together. Don't ideally want to have your fingers sort of make a house. You want to have your fingers together, hands together, and staying here. Working our shoulders and our hips, our inner thighs, stretching everything. Inhale, as if someone's pulling you by your hands, you're coming up slowly. Lovely, really nice. We're going to release our hands, maybe roll our shoulders for a moment. Now we're going to bring our right foot point forward again, engaging those legs, raising our arms, and as if someone's pulling us by the right hand now, we're going to come into our triangle. Again, you can place your hand on a block, on your shin, or on the ground. And you want to have if your fingers are on the ground, now really try to stack your hips, stack your shoulders, and see how maybe your hand will come off the ground. And that's okay. We really want to be flat here. And if you want, you can look up to the ceiling, to the thumb of your left hand. Breathing in and out through the nose. Looking to the ground on the inhale, coming up. Bring your arms down. I'm going to step forward to the front of our mats. Lovely. Really great. Bit of a different way of getting in and out of a poses, not always going through the vinyasas, through the down dogs. Going to come into our balance, which is eagle. So we're going to just show you, if you don't know what eagle is, like that. But you can do that on your mat, but if you've quite a chunky mat, quite thick, you could just step onto the hard floor. That makes it a lot easier to balance. Going to start standing on the left leg. So again, lifting all your toes on the left foot off the ground again, placing them down, lifting that heel a little bit so we've got a nice firm grounding. Come onto the tiptoe of the right, bending that left leg as we prepare. Going to lift the right leg, bring the thigh to cross over the left. And if that's what you can do, that's fine. Or you can try to bring your right calf around the left calf and have your right toes sort of tuck around the calf and hook you there. You can stand in prayer here, or you could try to touch your left shoulder with the right hand, bring the left arm under, and then come into eagle arms as well. And try to balance here. If you're wobbling, that's fine. If you're falling, that's fine. We're working our balance, and falling is part of learning. One more breath here. Inhale, exhale, and slowly unraveling. Let's give our left foot a little bit of shake. If you're feeling it in that foot, I always do. I feel like my left foot is a little bit weaker again, maybe because I'm right-handed, who knows, but it's nice to notice these things. Doing the same thing on the right side. So first, lifting all the toes of the right foot up, then lowering them one at a time, nice and broad. Lifting our heel a little bit, placing it down. I'm going to lift, come onto the tiptoe of that left foot, bend that right knee, lifting the left knee, crossing over the thigh. If that's all you want to do today, that's fine. Or you could try to get those left toes around. Ooh. And now we're going to touch our right shoulder with our left hand, right arm around, and come to eagle arms. And maybe sitting down a bit deeper if you want. Breathing here, focusing on the breath, maybe pushing those elbows a bit further forward to push the shoulder blades apart, working those shoulders. And I'm going to come up here, release the interlace, shaking that right foot now, rolling our shoulders. Lovely. Going to move to the ground through a very last vinyasa. So you're going to come to the front of our mat, stand in Tadasana, and inhale, arms overhead, exhale, folding down, fold, fold, fold. Inhale, half forward fold, hands to shins. Exhale, hands down, stepping back with either foot, coming down into plank, coming into knees, chest, chin, our 8-point pose. Inhale, sliding forward. Exhale, pushing into down dog. And from down dog, we're lifting our right leg up. And we're going to bring the right foot behind the left hand, and the right knee behind the right hand. We're lowering our left knee, untucking the left toes. And maybe walking back a tiny bit with that left foot. This is pigeon. The more parallel your right shin is to the front of your mat, the more intense that stretch is going to be on your glutes and your hip. So you can just bring that foot in a little bit. Perfectly fine. I'm just going to stay here for a moment with our hands under our shoulders. Having a few breaths here. Again, squaring our shoulders. Our shoulders parallel to the front of the mat. And also our hips are parallel, or more or less parallel. So you might have to move your left hip a bit more forward. I had to do that right now, just to correct myself. And that might lead to already feeling more of a stretch in your right glute here. There. Inhale, opening our chest. And exhale, maybe if we can, coming onto our elbows. And if you want, you could come even lower, placing your forehead on the mat. And breathing here. This is a really intense stretch. Breathing in these hard poses. Focusing on the breath to distract us from this discomfort of the stretch. Any pain, any actual pain come out of the pose, but slight discomfort from the stretch is Inhale, we're going to come up. We've come down, bring our hands back on below our shoulders. And we're going to come onto the right glute, flop over, and bring our left foot forward, swinging forward for our Janu Sirsasana. I'll just show it to you here. So I'm actually going to move the screen so you can see me a bit better. Great. So we now have the inside of our right foot against, the sole of the right foot against the inside of the left thigh. And we're going to stretch, we'll reach for the left foot. Here you can already get your belt or your towel or your bathrobe belt if you want. To bring it around the foot, but just pop it down for a moment. What I want you to do here is if you just sit relaxed, you'll notice that your chest will go in between your legs and point that way. What we want to do though is we want our chest to go over that straight leg, so you have to do a little twist with your torso. Bring that left shoulder back a little bit to have your chest point forward. We can bring our hands either side of our glutes, pressing into those hands, opening, sitting up nice and tall, and exhale. We're going to fold forward. You can hold your calf, your ankle, your foot, wherever you can reach, or you can grab that belt that we've put there. And inhale, stretching up. Exhale, pulling yourself down. But what you don't want to do by pulling like crazy is to round your chest, your back, and scrunch your shoulders to your ears. It's better to use a belt or hold on somewhere else so that your shoulders are still down and you're still nice and open here. And staying for a couple of breaths wherever you are. Your focus point, your drishti, where you look with your eyes, is your big toe. Inhale, we're stretching up. We're going to bring our left arm to the inside of the left leg. We're going to do a little bit of a twisted version here. So we're trying to stack our shoulders on top of each other again. And imagine your foot is against a wall. You want to touch that wall with your fingers. Stretching up, looking to the top hand if that's comfortable, or looking to the big toe again. Stretching here, twisting a little bit. And inhale, we're looking down and we're coming up. Lovely. We're going to bring our right knee up now so that our knee is in front of our chest. We're going to do a little twist. And there's several versions that I want to show you. So if you want, you can just leave your foot on the inside of your left thigh and just hug your knee with your the right knee with the left arm. Just twist over like this. Lovely. If you want to go a bit deeper, you could cross that right foot over to the outside of the left leg. Do the same thing. Hug the left arm and twist over. You could also bring that left knee foot in so that it's under your glute, the foot. Both knees are sort of in line. If you look down on your right knee, your left knee would sort of be right below it, right, sort of right just in front of it. And you could hug again and twist here. Or if you want to go even further, no need to do, you could try and bring your left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Either twist here or see if you could reach that front foot, the left foot, and grab it and step on your fingers. Wherever you are, commit to it and stay here. Feeling the stretch in the outside of your right glutes now. On the next inhale, we're going to look forward. We're going to release our twist. Going to bring the soles of our feet together. So we're sitting in our little cobbler pose. Just going to stay here, maybe butterfly our knees. Whatever feels good. Then coming to stillness for a moment, sitting up nice and tall. And we're going to cross our knees over. We're going to step back into a down dog to do the same thing on the other side. So we're lifting the left leg up now. Bring the left foot behind the right hand, left knee behind the left hand, lowering the right knee, untucking the right foot, and maybe if you want, walking that right foot back a little bit. Again, the more parallel the shin is to the front of the mat, the more intense, we'll just bring it in. If you want to stay here, squaring our shoulders to the front edge of the mat, squaring our hips under the shoulders. Maybe already feeling more of a stretch in those glutes by doing that, by setting ourselves up. Breathing here. If you want, coming down onto your elbows, and go down further, coming down onto your sort of forehead on the ground. Arms could be as a pillow, hands as a pillow, or arms out in front of you. And breathing here. Feeling that stretch in the glutes, connecting with our breath, using it as an anchor as we are in this intense stretch. On the next inhale, we're going to press into our hands, bring our hands back under our shoulders. We're going to flop onto our left glutes and swing that right leg forward. So within our Janu Sirsasana. I'm showing you again. So the sole of our left foot is against the inside of the right. If you have a belt, maybe prepare it already so that it's around that foot. And you've got reachable. Again, squaring up, chest over that front leg. So rolling that right shoulder a bit back. Hands either side of our glutes, pressing into the hands, coming up nice and tall. Inhale. And exhale, we're folding forward. We're grabbing wherever we can, calf, ankle, foot, maybe holding that belt. Inhale again, opening the chest. And exhale, we're folding down wherever we are. Drishti focus point is that front, that big toe of that right foot. Breathing here. Next inhale, we're going to lift our chest a little bit, lift our gaze. Going to place that right hand arm and lower arm on the inside of the right leg. Doesn't have to be on the ground. If it's just against the shin, that's fine. And we're going to stack our shoulders, our hips on top of each other. Going to imagine we're touching that wall that the foot is up against. Looking up to that hand, that top left hand. Breathing here in that twisted Janu Sirsasana. Inhale, going to look down onto the ground and going to come up. Now we're going to lift our left knee and we're going to come again into our little twist. So either you can just leave your foot on the inside of the thigh and twist over like this, or you could step your left foot on the outside of the right leg, hug your knee here with the right arm, left knee with the right arm, and twist here, or you could bring the right leg in, bring the foot under the glutes. Again, inhale here, twist over, or if you want to go that one step deeper, bring that right elbow on the outside of the left leg. You can see if you can grab the outside edge of the left foot with the right hand. And step on. Stay here wherever you are. Commit. And stay here for a few moments, looking over your shoulder. Next breath, inhale, we're looking forward and we're releasing our arm, we're releasing the twist, we're bringing the soles of our feet together. Again, maybe butterflying them. Butterfly that's flying away. Then maybe coming to stillness, and if you want, try to open your feet like the pages of a book. So you're bringing, your hands are grabbing the outside of the feet, your thumbs are on the inside, on the soles of the feet. And if you want, you can just lean forward a tiny bit. Again, keeping that chest nice and open, not rounding the back. So looking forward, coming wherever is comfortable to you, maybe using your elbows to push your thighs down. Inhale, we're coming up. We're going to now do what I told you to get 2 bells or a towel or something. We're going to stretch our legs out and come in this wide-legged seated position. And we're going to bring one, so this is bathrobe belt instead of a yoga belt. Bring that around that foot. Bring your yoga belt or your towel or whatever you've got around the other foot. We're going to, you could just sit here, inhale, exhale, fold forward and hold your legs. But if you want, you can also grab your belts. We're going to inhale and exhale, we're folding forward, we're pulling on those belts. I'm just sitting here, maybe see if you can walk your hands a bit further forward. And we just want to, again, keep that chest nice and open, shoulders away from the ears. Just staying here for a few breaths, feeling that stretch in the inner thighs, maybe in the lower back a little bit. Don't hurt your lower back. If it hurts, just come up a little. Just staying here, feeling that stretch in an intense pose. Inhale, going to come up, and exhale, let go of your props, bringing those legs in and giving yourself a hug. You could bring the tiptoes, come on to tiptoes, leave them on the ground, just hugging yourself, or you could even see if you can lift your toes and balance on your seat. Little cosmic egg here, little hug. If you want, on the exhale, you can sigh. And bring those feet down if you've lifted them. We don't need our props anymore, so you can just move them out of the way a little bit. Don't need a block either. Just going to come onto our back, so bring your feet and hip width apart, knees pointing to the ceiling, hands just behind you, and we're just slowly, safely coming down onto our mat. Just going to lie on our back for a moment. Knees are still pointing up to the ceiling. We want to bring our feet as close as we can to our glutes. Knees are hip width apart. You can see if you can maybe reach and stroke your heels. That's generally a nice sign that your heels are that you're in a really good position, but if you can't, that's fine. We're going to come into a little bridge. I'm going to do 2 of those. The first one to sort of know what we're doing, and then another one to hold. So we're going to place our arms are either side of the body, palms onto the mat. I'm going to inhale, we're tucking our pelvis, lifting the pelvis, the lower back, the middle back, the upper back off the ground. Going to not want our knees to fall apart, but have our knees nice and solid, legs straight. Going to push our hips up, but also think chest to chin. So we're rounding through the whole spine here. Breathing here for 2. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, and on the next exhale, we're lowering down first the upper back, the middle back, lower back, and pelvis. Really nice. Maybe rock from side to side a little bit. Rock your glutes a little bit, whatever feels good. You could even hug your knees for a moment. Place them back down, the feet. Again, see setting yourself up. Feet hip width, knees hip width apart. Can you stroke your feet maybe? Lovely. Hands, palms on the ground. We're going to now lift again, so tucking the pelvis first, inhaling. Lower back, middle back, upper back. Hips up, chin to chest. If you want, you can see if you can interlace your hands below your back, below your bum. And then maybe see if you can come onto the balls of your shoulders. So coming up even more, rounding more. And staying here for 5 breaths right now. And you can maybe feel that you can't breathe so deeply in this pose. More the upper lungs. If you've grabbed your hands under your back, release them. And now on the exhale, we're going to lower our upper back, middle back, lower back, and tuck the pelvis. We can hug our knees into our chest and just really hug them or hold wherever you can. You just make circles with your knees, so both knees make nice big circles. And in the other direction, massaging our lower back here. Coming into stillness, coming to center. We're bringing our arms shoulder level like a capital T. And we're going to drop our knees to the right side. The closer the knees are to the elbows, to the arms, the more intense this twist is. So you can just bring your knees down a little bit to take some of the intensity out. If you want, you could cross the upper leg, so if you're dropping to the right, that's the left, over and come into eagle legs in this twist. Just twist a bit more to stretch those glutes as well. You're looking towards the opposite hand, so the left hand, closing your eyes, palms are facing the ceiling. And you also want to think to bring both shoulder blades to the ground. That might mean that you have to lift your knees a bit off the mat. You could place a block under your knees. Breathing here with closed eyes, slowing down our practice. The next inhale. You're going to, if you have your legs into eagle legs, unravel. Inhale, come into center. Make sure that your arms are in capital T again. And then exhale, lowering those legs to the left hand side. If you want, you could come into the eagle legs by crossing that right leg around the left. But again, keeping both shoulder blades in contact with the ground. Your knees don't have to touch the ground. Looking, you could place a block here. Looking up to the right, palms up to the ceiling and breathing here. Unraveling the legs if you've come into eagle legs, and inhale, coming into center, hugging those knees one more time. If you wanted, you could come into one last stretch, happy baby, so grabbing your ankles or the outside of the feet through, so your arms are against the inside of the knees rather than the outside, the inside of the knees, holding the ankles, the calves, the feet, and pulling those thighs close to your body as you can. Breathing here, nice wide hips, and if you wanted, you could also rock from side to side, having a little fun, like a happy baby would, rocking from side to side. Might need a little bit of momentum to come back up when you're down here, pulling. If down here you can't really come up, just much pulling at the opposite foot, pulling at the foot, and then coming up, pulling, just rocking here. Coming into center and stillness for one moment if you were rocking. And releasing those legs, coming to a final relaxation. For that you could either come into Shavasana, Cobbler Pose, with your feet hip width apart, or if you wanted to work on your hips a little bit more in this relaxation, come into a Reclining Cobbler, so bringing the soles of the feet together, your knees falling out, making a diamond shape between your legs. Wherever you are, releasing any tension, wherever you're lying. Your arms are by the side of your body, your palms are about 3 inches, 15 centimeters-ish, away from your hips, palms facing up. Shoulder blades are nice and wide, shoulders away from the ears, chin is slightly tucked to have a nice flat neck, and your face is relaxed. If you're in Shavasana, your feet are falling out, toes relaxed. Just lying here, coming to a natural rhythm of your breath. Feeling how the breath flows through your body, how it enters your body through the nostrils, how the nose hair is swaying as you inhale, filtering out any impurities. Cold air coming in through the nose. How it moves into your throat, down the throat, into your lungs, being moistened and warmed by the throat on the way, filling your lungs, the 2 lungs that you have, going down into the smallest capillaries of your lungs, filling those little bubbles with that vital oxygen. That oxygen transferring onto the blood, moving back to your heart, the blood with the precious oxygen needed after our yoga practice. Your heart beating and pumping that fresh blood to all the organs, your fingertips, the toes, through the whole body it flows. Feeling that oxygen-rich blood replace and rejuvenate the body, replacing that old blood. The heart pumping, bring that oxygen-reduced blood back to the heart, working hard against gravity, pumping it up from your toes, your calves, your thighs, through your hips, abdomen, to the heart, sending it back to the lungs, where with another inhale, oxygen is brought to that blood and it's sent round on another trip through our body, sending it up to our brain flooded with oxygen, energy, clarity. And then the oxygen poor blood brought back to our lungs. That circle continuing infinitely until our time is up. But right now, taking comfort knowing that our body is looking after us, knowing that this is going on at any moment, whether we're awake, asleep, whether we're happy or sad, stressed or calm, in pain or at ease. Our body is looking after us as good as it can, and we are giving back to it for taking this time to practice yoga. Slowly bring that awareness back into your body. Have a nice deep breath. Maybe sigh on the exhale. Bring some movement into your hands, into your feet, rolling those wrists, moving your fingers and toes. Bringing your arms over your head, your feet together. Doing a nice full body stretch. Pointing the toes, pointing the fingers, stretching, and release. Bringing your knees into your body. And falling over to the right hand side with the knees, bringing your head onto your upper arm, the right upper arm, left hand in front of your face. And with the next inhale, pressing into that hand and coming up slowly, gently. Sitting cross-legged or however's comfortable. We can sit back in our Virasana, in our hero pose from the beginning. Taking a nice deep breath. Lovely. Going to do a quick pranayama, if that's alright with you. So we're going to do Brahmari or humming bee breath. So for that we're going to close our eyes with our the index finger, middle finger, ring finger, like that. The little finger will rest against the nostrils but not shut them. Our thumbs will close that little triangle that we've got here on our ears. So we're closing our eyes, we're closing our ears, and then we inhale, and on the exhale we do a humming bee sound. We're going to do 5 rounds of that. So closing our eyes, closing our ears, and first inhale. 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 Inhale, and last one. Lowering our hands, keeping our eyes shut. Just for a moment, feeling that vibration of that hum reverberate through our body. Opening our eyes, inhale, we're going to raise our arms, make a circle. Exhale, pulling our hands down through to heart center. We're going to bring our thumbs to our third eye for clear and kind thoughts, some thumbs to our throat for clear and kind words, and thumbs to our heart center for clear and kind feelings. We bow with a gratitude to the practice of yoga and gratitude to ourselves for moving today. Thank you so much for joining me.